how to automate shorts like you can see right here. So this is an example of a short I actually automated with N8N, and it's actually not that hard to automate this. I'm going to give you the full free template today, as well as I'll show you how to post plus create the video, and you don't even need to come up with the idea yourself. Now, it's pretty simple. So here is the full automation that I used to create it. So you can see an example right here. This is the example of the short that was created and then the final output. And then additionally, these are the sort of accounts that can go viral. So you can see a bunch of AI automated animal related videos absolutely popping off on TikTok, and you can now easily automate them using the process I'm about to show you. So let's get straight into it, and I'll show you exactly how this works. So essentially what we've got here is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5, and stage 6 of the process. This is actually an automation I learned from Robot Nuggets on YouTube. You can see his original video right here. Would definitely recommend checking it out. But essentially, this is how you can build the full automation. And if you want to get the full template from me, you can get it for free inside the AI Success Lab. Just click the link in the comments description to get access to that. You can download the JSON and then import it directly into N8N as a free template. So if we have a look at this automation, basically what we're doing step by step is, first of all, we are generating the idea. So you can see here, we've generated the idea, and this is the idea generator. We're using ChatGPT basically to just come up with related and relevant video ideas that we can create and automate a short about, right? So you don't even need to come up with your own ideas. If you do have something in mind, then you can easily put that into the prompt. And let me show you exactly how this looks step by step if you want to build it yourself, right? So we're going to open up a new tab inside N8N that's available at n8n.io. If you want to have a look at this, I've actually got a 3-hour course on N8N on YouTube if you need to check out anything more on this. And essentially, if you go over here, open up the workspace, you can start creating your own workflow just like this. If we go to create workflow in the top right, and then from here, we're going to start building stuff out. Now, the cool thing about this is it's automated. So it's scheduled to trigger every hour if we want to, or we can trigger, at midnight or whatever we want, right? So we can have days between triggers. We could set this up to trigger every hour. So we could say, right, every 60 minutes, generate a new short, and it's incredibly easy to do. So first thing you need to do is just set up a trigger. So let's say, for example, schedule trigger. And if we switch this now to to hours, and let's say you want a short to come out every 60 minutes. Well, you can set up hours, then 1 hour, and then you're good to go on that, right? From here, and this is stage 1 of the process, we're then going to come up with the idea generator like you can see. So the way that we're going to do this is click on the plus sign, and then from here we shall click on ChatGPT and OpenAI. And then the method for doing this is message model, resource equals text, operation equals message model, and model is, honestly, for speed, I would recommend using ChatGPT 4.0, but if you want like the best quality prompts, then I would recommend using GPT 4.1. So that's up to you how you want to set this up. But if you want to get similar outputs to what I created, then you can easily use ChatGPT 4.0, and obviously that's going to be a lot cheaper for you as well, right? So inside here, we can simplify the output, and then we're going to put the output content as JSON. And then inside this section, we're good to go. All right. Now we just need to select this prompt. If you want the full prompt, or if you just want to steal this stuff from me, then just get it inside the AI Success Lab. You can grab the blueprint down here, and you can see all the resource links like so. But essentially, if we paste that prompt in directly here, this is going to come up with the ideas for our prompt, right, for our videos. So you can see here it says you're an AI designed to generate compelling viral video short ideas for social media. And I've put, just for for fun, I've put make it jungle themed, about animals in the jungle. You could easily change this and say, okay, make it SEO themed, for example, whatever your niche is, whatever you want to post about. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular, right? So whether you want it to come up with ideas for you, or whether you want the ideas to be generated automatically, you can do it directly inside this prompt here. And if you look at the outputs, like, it's pretty amazing what it came up with. So for this example, right, it came up with the caption. So it's like monkey steals tourist GoPro and films jungle life. It came up with the hashtags, posted it automatically to social media, and then you can see this is 1 minute long, this short, which is pretty cool as well. You could also monetize the account, and the images are super nice. In fact, these are not images, these are videos, but you see the point. And essentially, then the monkey just goes off and films the jungle and that sort of thing, right? Films always jungle mates. And so this is basically how it goes step by step. And then from here, what you're going to do is you're just going to change this. So let's say, for example, I'm going to say make it SEO themed and educational, like so. Right? Then we're just going to test the step. At each stage, you want to test the step, make sure it actually works. Because if you don't test the steps, then you don't know if it's going to work or not, right? So for example here, for our business related content, it said the day Google got a cold, comes up with the ideas, and then it's like a quirky animated story follows the Google robot who catches a cold and accidentally buries a small business site until an SEO detective, MetaMax, saves the day with metadata and backlinks, right? So it's very creative in the way that it comes up with ideas, and it's all automated using N8N. So once you've set this up, you've now got the idea generator, right? And that is stage one. Stage one is complete, my friends, and that was really easy, right? Now, stage two is actually taking the video prompts. So taking the ideas and then generating video prompts. Now, if you want an example of this, and you want to know how to set it up and just set it up nice and clean, like you can see, so you got stage one, stage two, etc., then that's pretty simple as well. And so all you do is you can press Shift and S, and that will generate a sticky note for you, and then you can annotate that. All right, so for example here, we'll put stage one, idea generation, and we're good to go. All right, so stage one, idea generating, here's the schedule trigger, here it is step by step, boom. Now we're going to do stage two, and I'm just going to resize that so it looks nice and neat, and here we're going to duplicate, we'll take this down, and this will be stage two, and we shall call this idea to prompts, like so. Now if you want to change the color of the sticky note, just keep it nice and organized, so you can do it like so. So you can select different colors right here, and then we can keep going along. So the next stage is to take the idea and plug it into a Google Sheet. And this just keeps everything organized, plus you can see what's ready for production, etc. So if we type in Google Sheets over here, then from this section, we shall select, if we click on this, just double check, sheet within document. All right, so the operation is going to be append row. We're going to select append row, and then I'm just going to choose a spreadsheet from my Google Drive. Let's take that one. Then we're going to take the sheet here. 1 second. Here we go. And we'll take the sheet, right? Like so. And then we're going to map each column manually inside the spreadsheet. And essentially, just so you understand what's going on here. So at this point, we are creating a nice Google Sheet template. Like you can see, we've got the idea, the caption, the production environment, and the final output, which is actually the video file, right? So if we click on that, that'll actually take us to the video file to download. And if we click on that, we've got the video file downloaded and ready to post to social media. And you can actually automate the posting of social media as well, which I'll come on to. So you can see the idea, the caption, production, environment, final output, and the ID as well. So if we go back to here, what you would do is you would just map out the document. By the way, this is inside the school group. You can just grab the N8N workflow and then make a copy of it. So you just go to File, Make Copy of the spreadsheet. And from here, the ID, we're going to put row -1. All right, that's basically going to label the IDs, so video 1, video 2, etc. -1 because obviously we're not starting from row 1, we're starting from row 2. Row 1 has the headers inside it. Then from here, we're going to take the idea, which is generated by ChatGPT. We then have the title, the environment, etc. All right, so the caption we can take as the title. The production, we can just type in like for production, for example. Environment, we can just drag and drop that. And that's going to be dynamic each time this workflow generates. And then final output, we keep blank because we're going to generate that later with the URL, which I'll come on to in a minute. All right, so this is basically how you can map out the content of your videos into an N8N workflow. Pretty simple and easy. So we're going to put that into stage 2's row. So we've got stage 1, idea generation, stage 2, idea to prompts. And then what we're going to do from here is we're going to set up the prompt generator. All right, so this is a message model. We'll click on plus, we'll type in message, type in ChatGPT, then message a model. And if you want to save time here, you can just duplicate this, right? So we can right click this, click on duplicate, and then from here we've got the AI model duplicated, right? Just saves you time when you're setting this up. Now you can also rename each module just to keep it clean and organized. So for example, here we can put video idea generator, and then inside this section we'll call that prompt generator. Like so. And if you have any questions as we go along, like feel free to comment, happy to help, or post inside the AI community, link in the comments and description, we can help you out. All right, so with the idea generator, then we're going to do the prompt generator, which we've got here, and we're going to start setting this up. Now, the way that we're going to set this up is we're going to just copy the original prompt. So we're going to open this up and take that and plug this in, right? So basically what we're doing here is we're saying you're a hyper-realistic prompt engine built for generating ultra-specific documentary-style image prompts. Make the prompt simple and easy. Okay, and then your objective is to create a 13-scene static photo sequence. Here's what to do, here's how to do it, etc. And the first thing we need to do just before we do that is just test each step, right? So we're taking the data from the previous module, plugging it into the next one. And also, if you want to save the outputs, so let's say, for example, you don't want to generate this every single time, you want to pick up where you left off, you don't want to have to like test each part of the workflow each time, then what you can do here is you can actually pin these, right? So if you right click the module, click pin, this will save the output so you don't need to test the workflow every single time you're setting this up. All right, and then you can also save here as well. So inside the prompt generator, I'm just going to take this information, plug it in here. Then we'll click test. And there we go. Right, so you've got examples here of what we're doing step by step. Now, we're just going to flick to expression, like you can see. And inside expression, basically this allows dynamic fields. So it takes the inputs and the ideas in the environment and everything else and plugs it over here. So you always want to be testing each step, just making sure that the outputs are what you expect. Because if you don't get the right outputs from the previous module, the next module is not going to work very well. So you can see here, now it's come back with the ideas, the step-by-step scenes, etc. So Google, Chrome, Roma, blah, blah, blah. Here's what it's doing, step by step. And there we go. And by the way, if you just want to copy and paste all the prompts for me, get it inside the AICO Success Lab. You can just steal the JSON right there. Right, and then from there, you would just go to import from URL or import from file and upload the JSON file. So from this section, what we're now going to do is we're going to format the prompts. So you can see here we've got some formatting. Now this just makes the code more accessible for the next steps in the process. So we're going to click on add module, click code, and then we're going to take the code from here, plug it in, test that step. And now you see how this has turned all the step-by-step scenes from here. So we've got scene 1, scene 2, scene 3, etc. It's plugged it into a full description here, which is going to make it better and easier for the next stage in the process, right? So when we're asking the AI to generate the outputs, this is going to be much easier to sort of digest for the AI. And that is stage 2 completed. All right, so stage 1, idea generation, stage 2, video prompts, and then we're going to move on to stage 3, which is generating the images. So I'm just going to duplicate this sticky note again. We'll plug that down here. We'll rename this. So this is where it starts getting interesting, because now we're going to generate the images, right? So even if you didn't want to make videos, you can now generate images on autopilot too, like you can see. So inside the generate images section, what we're going to do now is we're going to do a HTTP request, right? And the model that we're going to be using for this is Flux. Now, Flux is pretty good for generating images in a cost-effective way. And the way that you're going to do this is click the plus sign down here, and then you're going to type in HTTP request. Then you're going to switch this over to post. And we're going to take this URL like so. So we'll take this URL. And then the other thing that we need to do here is select send headers. So if we select send headers, then we're going to take authorization and we're going to get an API key, which I'll show you how to do in a second, all right? So if you want to get an API key, you're going to go to File AI. Now, File AI is really good for sort of generating videos, sound, images, etc. And it's all inside one single platform, which makes it much easier. It's kind of like OpenRouter, but for multimedia, not just for generating text. So with File, you can grab an API key. You can see I've got my API key plugged in, which I'll delete after the video. The way that you can get an API key here is if you go to API keys at the top, then you're going to click add key, and then you're going to copy the API key that you get back, like you can see. Make sure you do copy it, because the problem is once you've set this up, you can't go back and view the key, right? So if I click on that, I can't view it. I can only delete it. So just something to bear in mind there. But once you've set that up, we can then start using Flux to generate the images. So you can see here, we're using q.file.run, and then the URL basically for creating images with Flux on autopilot. So we've got the URL for Flux, we've added the headers, authorization, plugged in the key there. And then for this next section, we're just going to click on send body. And we're going to select the type as raw. Application /JSON is the content type. So you select JSON there. All right, so raw, and then application /JSON. And then inside the body here, you're going to take this section here, plug it in, boom, ready to go, right? So we're just going to test that step now. And as you can see, that's basically sent a bunch of requests over to Flux for each scene inside the prompts, right? So let me talk you through what we're doing here. So to generate this cheeky little video right here, we had to come up with the idea. And to generate the idea, the way that we did that was we selected this stage idea like so, right? So let me show you what I mean. So we had to generate the idea, which we did over here. That's sent over to Google Sheets. Google Sheets then created the prompts for the images. And then you can see here we're generating the images in this section using a HTTP request, right? And the models that we're using here are ChatGPT and also Flux for now. But we'll come on to more in a second. So you can see here, we've selected the body. We're creating the images like so. We've plugged that information into our workflow, and that's generated all these images. Now, if you want to see, okay, what has been created so far, let me show you how. So if we go back to the AICO Success Lab, and then you're going to click on Flux, so this link right here, then you're going to click on Requests, and inside Requests you can see all these requests we've created for the Google bot, right? So these are basically like the images we're generating to start creating our short video, our faceless video. So if we go back inside here, we've sent the request over to Flux to generate the images. And now what we're going to do is we are going to add a new section, which is just wait, right? So it takes a minute or so, like you can see, for the images to generate. So we're going to click on wait. We'll add a new module called wait. Just add a second there. Click test step. Make sure that works. You can see that's waited, so we've got everything inside the queue. And then from here, we're going to click on get images. So if we click on get images, like so, which is another HTTP request, type that in. And then from here, we're going to copy the URL, plug that in. All right, so this is the request for taking the images from Flux. So what you can see here is we're doing the HTTP request. We're choosing the method as get, take the URL from Flux, add in the JSON format after that. And then we need to click on send headers. Inside the send headers section here, we've got authorization, and we're just going to plug in our API key again. All right, like so. And then we also need to send body type. So let's click on that.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
And then from here, we'll type in this into the body section. And just double check that. All right, so we've got the files ready to go. So what you can see here is these are the actual files generated by Flux, right? That we've literally just generated a second ago, which is pretty cool. So we can not just generate the images with a HTTP request, but we can also get those images directly from Flux. And now we're automating, and we're getting pretty close towards generating the videos and that sort of thing. Now, another thing you can do here at the bottom is you can select options and then batch in, and this will just help you avoid some errors. So if you select options here and then select 1, and then from this section you can just select like 2000 milliseconds, click test step, and that will just stop it from having any errors, right? So if there's any errors, or if you overload the server, etc., then you can batch the URLs, and it will just help you avoid any errors along the way. So there we go, we've got the files back now, boom. And you can see there's multiple pages here at the bottom. And we've completed stage 3. So just to recap here, we've created the idea, we've generated the video prompts, we've generated the images, and now it's time to start generating the videos. So what we can do from this section is if we click on create video prompts, let me show you how. So we're going to duplicate this. We'll call this stage 4. And this is create video prompts. Now we're going to click the plus sign, just drag that down there, type in ChatGPT, hit OpenAI, and then from this section what we can do is we can click on analyze image. So what this is going to do is going to analyze the images that we've generated just a second ago. So you've got the images generated from the URLs, which you can see over here. We're going to drag that over. So drag that over to image URL section. We're going to select the model as ChatGPT 4 latest. There we go. And then what's in the image, we're going to take that like so, right? So this basically, if we open this up, this basically analyzes the images from our prompts and also the image URLs which we've got down here. So I'm just going to grab the prompt from the previous part of the workflow. And then we'll cut that and plug it inside here. There we go. All right. So again, this is a dynamic JSON prompt based on the prompts from before and the URLs from the images we generated. We'll just test that. And as an example, you can see for the GoPro monkey image that we generated, the video, it's broken it down step by step. So it's like a young monkey grips a black GoPro with both hands, crouched low on a lichen covered rock. A soft sunlight brushes the tips of his orange fur, right? So simple prompts, easy to generate, and we're automating it with this process. So if we go back to the example prompt and we compare that versus the output, so a young monkey, you can see it's quite a small monkey right there, grabs a black GoPro, which we've got over here, crouched on a rock. There's a rock and the sunlight is grazing its fur, which you've got over here, right? So it's basically mapping out exactly what we want inside an image. Now it can take a while for that to generate, but you can see now we've got that generated like so. The reason it takes a little bit longer than usual is because you're analyzing these images, which does take time. So from here, we've created the video prompts and we're now going to do an HTTP request for video generation. And the model that we're going to use inside here is Cling. So if we click on HTTP request, then we're going to select post as the method, like so. Then we're going to use this URL as the URL for generating the outputs. So this is the URL. By the way, any part of this video, if you need the prompts, if you just want to steal them from me, I'm showing them on the screen. You can pause the video, take a screenshot, and just ask ChatGPT to type them out if you need to, right? Or you can just download the template from school and then plug that in, and this school is free, right? So inside the authentication section, we're good to go. And then inside the send header section here, we are now going to select authorization. And again, we'll take that value for the API key, like you can see. Inside the send body section, we're going to select raw. Application JSON, and then we'll copy the body like so. So if we test that step now, and one thing you should do as you go along here is just make sure that you label everything, right? So for example, you see how we've got get images on stage 3 rows over here. I'm just going to do that now. Change this to get images. We'll hit rename like so. Escape off that. And then if we go inside the get images section, we're now going to plug in the prompt that we found before. and we'll keep going through. Zhao says hi, shout out to you. And let's just wait for this to load. There we go. All right. Then we're just going to test this again. Just waiting for this to load. So bear with me. There we go. So now this should work. Let's just hit test step, make sure this works okay. Yeah, there we go. Good to go on that. And I'm just going to rename this video creator. So I know exactly what it does, etc. And then we're going to wait again. So I'm just going to add a wait section here. We'll wait a second. Take the data from here to there. Again, like if you were, I'm actually going to change that to 1 second. But again, if you were like generating the outputs here, you know, it might take like 4 minutes for Kling to actually come up with outputs. So that's what we're doing step by step. And also in this section, you can see we're using Kling video, right? Kling video, that's what we're using. Now I'm using the standard version. You can use the pro version, which is even better, to be honest. So if you want like better quality images or something like that, like this was just a test run. The images still look good, to be fair, the videos I mean, but if you want even better responses, then you can switch your models, right? So for example, if we go inside the course again, then we're going to go to requests. Inside the request section here, you can see the inputs for the video and what we've created so far. But if we actually go back here, we can switch on the drop down to Pro, right? Image to video Pro. And that will just make sure that the images you're using are even better quality. So if you want the creme de la creme, but you're willing to pay more, then you would use Video Pro. If you want like the standard sort of usage, then you're going to switch to image to video. So from here, we've done that. We've worked our magic. We're just going to wait a second here, generate the outputs. There we go. We're good to go. And then what we're going to do is click on Get Video. Right, so we're going to add another HTTP request. Click Get. Type in the URL to get requests, which you can see right here. Now, important thing to note here is if you have a space after the request URL, it's not going to work, all right? So make sure that you use the exact same URL format that we've got right here. And then we've attached a dynamic JSON request from the previous responses, which is going to get the Kling video step by step. Right. Now, just to recap here, you've got get, you've got URL. Inside the settings as well, you would send headers using fields below. Then you're going to select the name and the value for your API key. Again, whenever you're typing stuff like this, especially for JSON and sending headers and stuff like that, you've got to get it like precise. If you add the wrong keys and stuff like that, it's not going to work. So for example, with the API key, we put key space, and then we have the rest of the field right here, right? And then for sending the body, we'll select that. You can just duplicate it from the last one, but I just want to make sure it's super clear what we're doing here and how we're doing it. So for sending the body, we're going to take the JSON description, from the prompt. And then we're going to put the batch in as 1 and 2000 is the interval time. Just test that works. Some people are asking, like, how do you get the access to the templates, etc. So let me show you how this works step by step. So let's say you are watching the live stream. You can click on the video, find the description down here, click on that. And then inside here, go to Classroom AI course. And then you can find the template and all the resources down here. So go to Classroom and then AI course. Hope that makes sense. So just going to double check this, make sure we've got it all right. And also, it does take a while for the outputs to generate on Kling, right? So if you want to see where you're up to in terms of generating the outputs from Kling, then we can go out to Kling over here. We're going to go into requests. And you can see, for example, the videos ready to go over here. Pretty cool. Charles says, good to see your show. You seem to be doing good work. Thank you very much, sir. And then I'm just going to change this as well to video. And there we go. Just one thing to bear in mind here, when you're doing this, make sure you got everything set up correctly, otherwise it can break. It is temperamental. So you want to make sure everything's matching nicely. Now, once you've done that, you'll see an example like this. So you just test step at each stage. Here's an example, and then you're going to move on to the next stage, all right? So we get the video, like so. Here's an example. You're good to go on that. Then you got stage 5. So stage 5 is where you start generating the sound. Now I'm using GPT 4.1 for this. Again, it is a little bit slow, so if you don't want to use it, you can just test something else. You can see an example of the output right here. And then this, again, is a ChatGPT messenger model. We've got the prompt like so. Basically, it's just a prompt to generate the music. So for example, it looks at the image, it's like, right, a lively symphony of rainforest life unfurls, leaves whisper overhead as a humid breeze stirs through the treetops. Beautiful and poetic, right? And it's got descriptions for each scene. Then from there, it's going to start creating the sound. Now this is another HTTPS request, post. We're using Audio for generating this. Plug in your API key again, and then send body, select raw, JSON, and here's the example of the prompt that we're using. Then you're going to wait a second, and then from there, get the sounds, right? So what this does is it takes the audio from Audio, you send the headers, you send the body, there's the descriptions, etc., and you're good to go on that. And that leaves us with stage 6. Now, stage 6, you're basically stitching everything together. So you're taking all the code, then putting it into a format it can actually understand. So it's taking all the URLs. And also, if we take that, it's downloaded. It can download the video, so this is like a 5-second clip. It's taken all the 5-second clips that we've generated with Kling and stitching them together. So you can see here what we've done. We've said code, list elements, run once for all items, language, JavaScript, and then here's the code to generate that. That's going to stitch the video using another HTTP request, so post, URL, here's what we do, the headers, and then raw content type equals JSON again. You're just going to take the URLs like so. So these are all the video URLs that we're plugging in. So you can just drag those in like so. Then you're going to wait a second. And this gets the final video. So for example, if we take a look at this output, and we open this up, this is the final output of the video we generated. Like you can see, downloads it automatically. And then the final thing that we want to do is just plug that into our Google Sheet. So here's an example of all the settings we're using, the idea, etc. Here's the code that we plugged in. And basically what that's going to do with the final output is it's going to match the column based on the idea. We're mapping it manually. Then it's going to look up that idea and plug it into our Google Sheet. So if we go back to the Google Sheet template, which you've got free access to, it will plug it directly into the sheet, as you can see right here. So this will plug directly into the Google Sheet and have the URL. So that's basically it for automating Reels. The next part that I'll come on to later is how to actually automate the posting of all of this directly to social media. So just to recap here, we've come up with the idea, the video prompts, generated the images, generated the videos, created the sound, stitched it all together, then plug that URL into a Google Sheet. And with the Google Sheet, we can actually take the outputs and then automate posting that directly to social media as well. So here's an example, right? So if we look at this one, you can see that for the idea of a monkey, we've got the caption, production, the environment, and then the final output of the URL, which takes us to this video that we've just downloaded, right? And you can automate posting that directly to social media, like you can see, which I'll come on to in the next video. So that's basically it. That's how to automate and create reels with just one idea. You don't even need to come up with the idea yourself, and it's super powerful, like you can see, using this whole spreadsheet. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get free access to all the templates, workflows, etc., you can get that inside the AI SEO Success Lab. Link in the comments in the description. And inside this community, we post a bunch of like notes from the courses and the videos that we do, so you can see like client and stuff like that. And then if you want to upgrade and get, for example, like coaching, weekly calls, etc., feel free to get that inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments and description, so you just click on that and then that will take you to the AI Profit Boardroom, and you can sign up and get coaching, an awesome community of people focused on really scaling with AI, and also all of our best courses, agents and workflows and that sort of thing. So feel free to get that link in the comments description. If you want us to build this out for you or any sort of SEO automations as well, feel free to book in a free SEO strategy session, link in the comments description, and we can help you out with that too. So thanks so much for watching, appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Today, I'm going to show you how to automate posting reels to social media automatically. And this works with TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, basically any platform you can post to. You can automate the posting of social media content easily to any platform, right? Using this N8N workflow. And you can see an example over here. So here's an example. This is an automated post to social media with AI. The whole video was actually generated with AI, and it's very easy to actually post that directly to social media as well, right? So for example, this was actually posted through this N8N workflow, and you can see an example. So we actually took the video from a platform called Blotato, sent it over, and then posted it directly to TikTok on autopilot, along with the captions and everything else. Again, you can set this up for Instagram or any other platform, and it's very easy to do with this AI agent. So if you want to do this super simple workflow, and you can automate this so you can generate videos, say every hour, and then post those automatically every hour to social media, like you can see in this example. So what we're doing here, for example, is we're scheduling the trigger, which is going to be every hour. So if you want to set this up, let me show you exactly how it works. I'll start up a new workflow inside N8N for you, just to build it from scratch. All right, so you're going to click on create a new workflow in the top right. Then from here, we can just add a new step, and we'll call this schedule trigger. Like you can see. Now you can schedule this hourly or every 20 minutes, however often you create content. But essentially what we're doing here is we're going to schedule this to run on autopilot so that we don't need to post ourselves. And this is going to take URLs from a spreadsheet, read them, and then post them directly to social media. So let me add another module like you can see right here. And basically what this is doing is reading our spreadsheet and then putting in the outputs over here. So if you want to set this up, you would just click on the plus sign, type in Google Sheets as a module, and then from here you're going to select Get Rows. So if we type in Get Rows in the sheet, this will take the data from our pre-formatted sheet. Now if you need a template for the sheet, let me give you an example. So you can see an example right here. And if you need to steal that sheet from me, link in the comments and description to the free community where you can get all of these templates for free. All right, so you can see what it's basically doing is taking the idea, the caption, the production, the environment, and then plugging that into our sheet. So if we want to take that, we're going to take the spreadsheet from Google Docs. So let me type in here, N8N. And we'll take the spreadsheet named N8N from my Google Drive. And then we're just going to select the sheet, which is this one. And you can actually filter this by production. So if you had like options for like pre-production, not ready for production, etc., then you can select that inside column D. So for example here, we can select all the inputs and we'll just click on test step. And you can see now it's taken all the information from our spreadsheet. So we've got the row, idea, ID, caption, etc. Okay. Now from here, what we can do is we can use a JSON input to create the next step. So you can see here, we've got this new JSON set up. And basically what we're doing here is we're taking the information from Google Sheets and then plugging that into JSON format. All right, so we've got mode equals JSON, then JSON. And what this is doing is it's actually taking a platform called Blotato, which is an amazing name, by the way. And then it makes it really easy to post to different social medias. Now, there's many platforms where you can do this, but honestly, if you want to automate it, I think Blotato, number one, has the most amount of platforms. And number two, it makes it very, very easy to set up. So let me show you what I mean. You can actually get a free trial. And you can try it for free. But basically, this allows you to grab an ID. So if we go and log in here, you sign up for a free account, you can get a free trial. And then inside your settings, you can grab an ID, right? So you can see here, for example, we've got account IDs for my TikTok, for Twitter, etc., right? And so what we're doing here is we can log in with any of these platforms. You just click login, really easy and simple. Then you can connect your platforms like you can see, and then you can grab the account ID and plug that into JSON format inside N8N. So you can see here, for example, squiggly bracket, quote marks, TikTok, colon, then the ID from my platform, and then the key over here. All right. So that's basically it. That's going to send it over to Blotato, and we'll just test that out. There we go. And basically what this is doing is grabbing the ID. So it's taking the information from the JSON format here, plugging that into the output. And then the final bit is the post section here. So what you can do is you set up a new HTTPS request. Then you're going to select post as a method. Use this URL for the backend, so post into Blotato. And then inside the send headers section here, you're going to plug in your API key, right? Now, I'm going to delete my API key after this video. You never want to be showing your API keys online because obviously it's like a password that you're sharing with everyone. But essentially, if you want to post to social media, automatically then you would get your API key. Now, if you're wondering how to get an API key, you would just go inside your settings, so my.blowtato.com/settings, and then scroll down here and you can get API access, right? Now, if you copy that API key, you can plug it into your N8N workflow, like you can see, and then the format for setting this up is blowtato API key, all lowercase. That's how it's set up. And then underneath, you're going to select send body, and inside the send body section here, using the fields below, you're going to put the name and the value. So inside the name section, we just put URL. And then inside the value section, we take the URL from Clean, like you can see, right? So I've got this stored on Clean. You can get it wherever you want. If you look at my previous video and the previous section, you'll see that I've got a full automation on this. If you want an automation to create reels like you can see in this video, then you can get that inside the AI SEO Success Lab, like you can see. All right, pretty simple and easy. So now you set that up, it really isn't simple. We're just going to test it out, make sure it works. There we go. So we've got that ready to go. That's been sent over to Blowtato. And then this is the easy bit. You're just going to connect it to whatever social media platform you want, right? So for example, if you just want to do TikTok like I did, and again, you can do this to all platforms. Like it doesn't have to be limited to TikTok. It could be Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, Blue Sky, YouTube, Twitter, etc. Whichever platforms allow you to post videos, right? If you can't post videos to Pinterest, then you wouldn't use this automation unless you were posting images. But essentially, that's how it works, right? So inside here, we are going to set up the HTTP request. So it's going to be post. Let's select post over here. Then inside the URL, we're going to use the backend for Blowtato, like you can see. And again, if you want to get like any of the URLs, you can actually get the automation from me inside the SEO Success Lab, like you can see inside the resources section. And you'll see screenshots step by step where you can actually view all the settings for each module, right? So if you want to steal this stuff from me, you can just grab it right there inside here. Right? I also added to the AI Profit Boardroom, which comes with like weekly coaching and all sorts of upgrades on that. So now we're going to click send headers. We're going to send the Blowtato API key, which is the same as before. And then we just have to send the body, which is a JSON. So if we send body, use JSON, take this in, plug it in over here, hit test step, make sure that works, post submitted, boom. We should be good to go on that, all right? So if we go over to my profile on TikTok, here we go. That was a video I literally just posted. Pretty awesome. And it was easy to automate with AI. We create the whole video with AI and it's posted to social media with AI. Unbelievable. So that's basically how it works. So if we go back to automation now, the only thing that I would do here is just make sure you do actually like rename all the steps, right? Keep it neat and tidy. So for example, in the Google Sheets section, I'm just going to call that get URLs from Google Sheets. Inside here, I'm going to put Blowtato, and then inside the HTTP request, I'm going to rename that and say post send video to Blowtato. And then for each social media platform that you add, so for example, TikTok, then you just rename this as well. So if we click on rename, we'll type in TikTok here, hit rename, hit save on that, and then we're good to go on this, all right? You can also activate this, so you can activate the workflow, and then it will run on autopilot every hour based on your scheduled trigger. If you want to test the workflow, you can see we can test that like so. That's firing over, and we'll probably post it for the third time to social media, like you can see. All right, so that's works perfectly. Let's go back to TikTok now. Go on the profile, and you're good to go on that. All right, there's a video ready to go. Simple and easy. So if you want to automate shorts, like you can see, this is exactly how to do it. You can post to any platform. I've shown you how to do it for Instagram and everywhere else. And it is pretty awesome. Now again, if you want to just if you don't want to set all this stuff up yourself, then you can download the JSON file. So you can download that. And then if you go to N8N, click on import. I'm just going to save on that before I overwrite it. Import from file. Here we go. Insert the JSON. We've just literally just popped in that JSON file right there, right? So if you just want the template to easily import, you can do it like so, no problem at all. And that's probably the easiest and fastest way to do it, to be fair. So it's absolutely amazing what you can do. Again, if you haven't seen it already, like let's go back to the AICO Success Lab. So inside here as well, you've got the N8N shorts automation, right? And you can get the JSON file to import here. And basically inside here, you can actually automate the full video itself. So this video I automated with AI, and it was really easy to do with this N8N workflow, right? So if you want to learn how to actually automate the workflow, how to create videos, etc., you can see step by step. This is exactly how, from stage 1 down to stage 6, we automated the images, the video itself, the audio for the image, and even the idea and the prompts for the video as well, and then stitched it all together down here and then sent it over to Google Sheets. So it's a beautiful automation, and if you combine the power of posting to social media automatically, like you can see, and you combine that with the power of automating shorts, then you've basically got something that can automate shorts, post them 24/7, and it's incredibly easy to do. Plus, if you are too lazy to set this up, or you're like, I just can't be bothered, then you can grab the JSONs and import them directly inside N8N, right? So link in the comments and description to this. Just go to the Classroom AI course and you can see all of these automations on the left-hand side that you can download and use, etc. And if you want to get an awesome community of people focused on making money and saving time with AI, feel free to get the AI Profit Boardroom. This is an awesome community focused on just making money and saving time. If you need any help with this stuff, because I know it gets complicated, then you can ask inside the community. We also do weekly Q&As calls inside here, and it comes with all my best automations, templates, AI agents, and workflows. All right? So feel free to get that link in the comments and description. Appreciate you watching, and if you want to get a free one-to-one SEO strategy session that shows you how to get more leads, traffic, and sales, feel free to get that. On this free call, we're basically going to give you a custom tailored game plan that shows you how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visits this month and generate hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales on autopilot. On this free link building acceleration session, you'll get a custom tailored game plan. You'll discover the secrets to SEO link building, answer any questions you have, and it's completely free, right? It's just designed to help you make more money and save time with SEO. So feel free to get that. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.